Happy Wednesday. Good evening, everyone. I guess if you're in this neck of the woods, we have folks all across the world. So whatever time of day it is, thank you so much for being here. Ooh, I get excited easy, but not this much, folks. This here, we have been, if you haven't seen us before, get ready. And if you have, even more so, folks, this movement, Kindness Worldwide, what it's doing, how fast it's taking off, it's here to stay. All right. So I don't know if anybody out there thought it was a fad. Well, we don't always get it right. Don't worry about it. But it's not too late. Hey, join on. This is a great movement. It's making a difference and impact and actually increasing the rate of returns in a lot of city government. It's just amazing, folks. So before we get into it, I want to give some shout outs. Well, first of all, to the folks who showed up real bright and early. I always love that. So they were here before I was. Look, April Wyatt is here. All right. Thank you so much. Absolute. This is the kind of people we have in the house, folks. Gee whiz, right? We have the great Dr. Constance Leland with Level Up Academy. Thank you so much. She helps us push up so many people in the business community and the world in general. She's all about kindness worldwide too. You know that. Then we got, who else we got? We got Boz in the house, Boz Porter. Love this guy. Amazing guy. He's been there, done that, and doing it again. So appreciate you folks being here. And we'll get one more real quick because there'll be more coming. Dr. Jeffrey Berger, also amazing hound, great educator. Thank you so much, my friend. All right, so let's give a quick shout outs. I do not want to waste any time, all right, to get the most out of what we're about to talk about. This is absolutely amazing. We not only have Kevin Smith, right, founder of Kindness Worldwide, but we also have Elgin Cahill, right, documentary extraordinaire, folks. This guy has been there and done that. And boy, we get the first sneak peek right here. I could be more thrilled and honored. So let's get to it. First of all, we love to shout out good things with the hounds. All right. And I don't do these but once or twice a year. It's tough out there, folks. Right. It is very tough. And so I'm really happy and to give a shout out and a thank you to Tanya Eberhard of Brandface and the COO, Michael Carr. Incredible joint webinar. We're going to have our last one tomorrow at 10 a.m. All right. So you can go to my LinkedIn, go sign up, get the link. It's not a cheap infomercial. We're giving away true value. We want people to win. All right. If you do it yourself, fantastic. If you can't do it yourself, you call us. All right. That's how we do it in the hounds. Okay. But she has done so much for so many people. And I just want to say thank you. Sign up for that. Okay. It's not you. You just got to learn the things to do to get the people that you want to serve in the right orbit. All right. And then number two, want to give a shout out to our new friend, Megan Robinson, right? Leader experience. And wow, absolutely incredible. I love good leaders. Okay. So e-leader experience, want to recognize her. What she does, long story short, equipping managers with essential leadership skills. All right. Specializes in helping organizations solve problems before they fester in the bigger problems. Right. You can't bury your head in the sand. It doesn't get better. It gets worse. So I love her approach. It makes leadership development approachable and accessible for everyone. Sound familiar? Yep. So regardless of the title and experience, she can help you out. Scan the QR code, check out the website. You're going to see a lot more of her. All heart and brilliance right there. And then number two, or last but not least here, Greg Moore. This guy, he is absolutely phenomenal, top of his game. Great guy. He's a Wall Street Journal best-selling author and host of the Franchise Maven podcast. He's achieved financial freedom, helps countless people achieve financial freedom through franchising. All right. And so ambitious entrepreneurs, people who are wondering, is this a good fit for me? Where should I go? Should I start from scratch? Should I get a proven model? Start with Greg. Greg's not a salesman. He's an educator, and he's going to do what's in your best interest. So, Greg, thank you for being the hounds, brother. Love the way you serve people and appreciate the opportunity to work together. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and run this intro and bring these two rock stars up and spread kindness even further around the globe. What's that? How's that sound? Sound good? They're nodding in the background. They're ready to go. All right, folks, stay tuned. Here we go.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
All right, folks. Let's see. All right, everything's good, working order. All right, I'll tell you what. We're going to bring them up real soon. We've got a story tonight. If you've heard it before, you're going to hear more than you know. All right, it's going to knock your socks off if you haven't heard it already. All right, and I'm talking about how one lost wallet turned into a grassroots movement. Right, heading straight to festival circuits. You know, hey, who knows? All right, but what we do know is this story is going to get out even bigger, and I am honored to help that happen. So, you know, he said, well, what does this have to do with bottom line? It's a business show. Oh, stick around. Don't miss that. All right. So business folks, government leaders. All right. If you operate a hot dog stand, you got to stay tuned, folks. Organizations, communities, nonprofits, everyone. All right. It benefits. It's not just a feel good movement. We're going to prove it to you. All right. So test us in that. So we're going to go and give a shout out to York County, Pennsylvania for being the pioneers of this thing. And you're going to see the fine folks that made this happen. All right. It is absolutely, it already sounds like a daggum movie plot or something. And here it is. So let's bring these gentlemen up. Mr. Kevin Smith and Elgin Cahill. Welcome to the show, my friends.
How you doing, Mike? Good to be here. It's wonderful to be in the company of friends. And there's so many friends in the house tonight. So I'm very blessed.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I can't believe it. Absolutely blessed, my friends. So let's get the party started. It's hot in here. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all know that I have an office in Louisville. I never go there. I go there to check the mail once every month. I sit in my office shed. It's the wrong day. I should have went to the office. Wrong day. Apparently, I didn't seal it too good. But anyway.
Well, it's 100 degrees in New York, so it's hot here too.
The heat index is 107.
Wow.
No,
you got us beat by a couple points.
My thermometer in here says 86 right now. So if I look like Hulk Hogan sweat, that's why. But hey, it's all right. So I'll tell you what, we'll start with you, Kevin. Got to ask, for folks who may not already heard this, phenomenal story. Very successful guy, right? Financial CEO. You're busy, to say the least, right? Very, very busy like most folks. So when your wallet got lost right, on that Good Friday morning, or got returned on the Good Friday morning, you know, what has Sam Hill made you think, well, I got to turn this into something bigger, right? You know, most folks would have just said, thank you, try to pay somebody something and moved on. You got to give us the version of this.
Well, where do I start? You know, ironically, there are many times, Mike, I often wish for selfish reasons I would have just said thank you and left it well enough alone, but that wasn't in the cards, and that wasn't what the universe's calling was. But I think to really understand it, it's important to understand my why. And I've always felt that the meaning of life is to live it in a way to make a meaningful difference. And I think that's largely shaped by my upbringing, my mom in particular. When I graduated college, I went into the corporate world, had a great career at a Fortune 500 paper company at the time, quickly rose the corporate ranks. 12 years into it, I was promoted as the director of the company's largest business unit. You know, on paper, everything was great, except I was miserable. I mean, paper is important, but not particularly meaningful. So I had an epiphany at the time that life's too short to not enjoy what you do. So I decided to walk away after my most recent promotion and start a new venture. And as a wealth advisor, I started what is now Smith Wealth Advisory Group. It's very meaningful to me to help translate our clients' monetary resources into meaningful life experiences. Had a very successful practice, still do, have a wonderful team. But then on Good Friday morning, a simple act of kindness after a routine trip to the grocery store, when I left my wallet behind and I had it promptly returned, the moment I realized it was missing at 9:57 a.m., a young woman is at my front door holding my wallet, asking me if it was mine. And from that point on, simply wanting to say thank you to this young woman in a more meaningful way, it took on an indescribable life of its own. So many serendipitous moments, countless coincidences few would believe, including myself. I have a hard time believing it myself at times. But it became so much more than saying thank you to this young woman in a more meaningful way. It became about making a meaningful difference. And that ultimately inspired me to form the nonprofit Kindness Worldwide with a vision to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. And that's brought me here today to meet so many wonderful people I never otherwise would have met were it not for this one act of kindness. So it's a fascinating story. Elgin's going to have his handful to try to share it in 90 minutes in the upcoming film for such a time as this. But he's a professional, and I know he'll do a top-notch job. But really, it's been an indescribable adventure of a lifetime.
Oh man. And folks, we have it on our YouTube channel. So yeah, absolutely shameless plug. Go to the Hounds of Business YouTube and look at all these amazing Kindness Worldwide videos. This is real deal. You get to learn about it. You go to kindnessworldwide.com. I'll put the website up here, but I'm going to pull up a video. While I do, Elgin, if you don't mind, tell the folks that they don't know who you are yet. What do you do? What's your background? And why, a little bit like, hey, what was this? You could do a million things. You've done a lot of documentaries, but why this?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Mike. And so just a quick background. I have been working in and out of the industry since about the age of 19, started as a writer. Between then and now, have worked just about every possible position there is on a film or TV crew. Have worked in the talent management space for several years. And then I worked on as a producer and director on a reality show here in Colorado for several years. And that's where I met Elia Gregoris and Randy McNeely. Quick shout out to those guys, my co-producers. And Randy had connected with this guy. He told us there's this dude named Kevin Smith. He's all about kindness. And a little more quick background. After the reality show in Colorado, Elia and Randy and I had been in the process of developing a reality show about kindness. And then Randy says, hey, I connected with this guy on LinkedIn, this guy, Kevin Smith, and he's all about kindness. And so we said, well, yeah, we gotta connect with this dude, and heard his amazing story. And, what struck me immediately was all of us, we all had kindness origin stories that were in so many ways so similar. And to circle back to what you said, Mike, I mean, there's all kinds of different films, all kinds of different TV shows. I've worked on all of them, and could be doing anything right now. But this story just resonated with me, and the whole rest of the team. Kevin's journey, Kevin himself, I mean, just such a selfless guy, and just did a complete 180, and became like the biggest champion of kindness. There's no one who's fighting harder to spread kindness worldwide, literally worldwide. So when the opportunity to be a part of this documentary came up, there was no way that I wasn't going to be a part of it.
Yeah. Hey, see, I like you even more now. Let's make him blush real hard, real quick. Yeah. but I mean, I agree. I said, look, I tell people affectionately, I said, listen, the man lost his wallet, and it's seemingly like he lost his mind, right? I mean, and then he went on this goose trip. But thank gosh he did it, man. Really, thank goodness he did it, because we needed this. We needed something positive. Look, there's negativity everywhere. People have real problems. But, where's the glimmer of hope? And not just hope to me, inspiration. Kindness in action is what this is about. So thank you for saying that, and thank you for being you. Because like I said, you don't have to do this either. You saw it. And did I hear you correctly? Did you say you were thinking about doing a kindness thing anyway, and then someone's like, Kevin?
We were in the process of producing, we'd produced a few different versions of a kindness reality show. And yeah, so we were on different paths, but I dare say the same journey. And this has all come together. And, Kevin used the word serendipity. I mean, there are too many, things that are bigger than coincidences to count. And it seems like during the production of the documentary, just capturing the story that's led us to where we are and will lead us beyond, every day there was another big moment that, just showed why this is happening the way it's happening. And I've told Kevin and the rest of the production team several times that every single shoot day and every single location, every single interview has by far exceeded my expectations. And this is going to be a really, really special just representation of this amazing and wonderful movement that Kevin has, like it or not, been the epicenter of.
If I can piggyback on that just briefly. It was always very important to me to share good news, positive stories, and they're all out there. There are so many stories of the transformative power of kindness that we never hear about, we never read about. Largely the news media has a mindset if it bleeds, it leads. Well, I think if it's good, it should. And so telling positive stories is very important. And so it's part of the vision of Kindness Worldwide. And so in this endeavor, so many serendipitous moments, one of them was becoming aware of, Randy and Elia and Elgin and their work at the Kindness Factor International and their pilot episode for the Kindness Factor series. And I'm like, well, this is exactly the people that I want to align with. And that first meeting we had together, Elia made the comment, he said, we're all heart and no ego. And we just all instantly connected, instantly hit it off. And it's formed a foundation of a beautiful friendship. I consider them family. And, this film is going to be very powerful, but it's just the beginning of so many things we have in mind as part of this vision to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world. Yeah,
y'all know why? Because it's real, right? It's not just another film or another this or another that. It's touching. You're like, wow, kindness exists. I mean, look at the comments. Hounds and friends of the hounds, ambassadors and supporters of Kindness Worldwide, and all. These folks, they're high level, but heart centered. You can be both, and we've proven that, and I love that. And so, business with heart, absolutely. Hey, people in the audience, y'all want to see the first little teaser video? Come on now, you gotta see it. Comment. We'll go ahead and show that. We'll comment. We got some more for you, so we're dripping this out. And thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Elgin, for letting us drip this stuff out. We can't show the whole thing, but man, you can tell I'm excited, right? I'm trying to hold it in. And by the way, serendipity. Every time I hear that, I'll call Kevin. That's his word. Yeah, serendipity. Yeah. All right, so let's do that. Let's get it done.
Believes in the goodness of people. The universe has its ways of manifesting magic at a time of its choosing. That time was 9:57 a.m. on Good Friday morning, 2023. For such a time as this is the endearing story of two strangers whose lives were forever changed through fate and circumstances, and a simple act of kindness. One act of kindness was the ripple to become a wave that will touch and uplift the hearts of all. A mere desire to say thank you in a more meaningful way became an adventure of a lifetime, and so much more. Pathways miraculously opened to make a meaningful difference and turn a moment into a movement to change the world through kindness and inspire kindness worldwide. With passion and purpose and an unwavering belief in the heart of a community, all is possible when you believe in the I'm possible. If something so magical can happen in one community, it can happen anywhere and everywhere. For such a time as this is our story. It's proof that no act of kindness is too small to make a difference and change a life, and that anyone can make a lasting impact and even change the world through kind actions. Why not us? Why not now? We invite you to write the future chapters of our story with us. This is our moment. This is our time. Believe the goodness. See the magic. Be the reason for the miracle to come. The pen is now ours to write the most beautiful chapters yet.
Together we'll stand. With love we create a ripple effect, hand in hand. We stand.
Oh no. Oh no. Look, it's like we're cutting onions in here. We got 4 more videos. Man, we got a whole look, because we know what it takes to do this. I mean, this has been a wild journey, blood, sweat, and tears. People don't see behind the curtain. And I have seen Kevin behind the curtain. So has Elgin, and so has many people. Folks in the comments, Randall, thank you for joining us. And it is something to see how fast and how meaningful this thing is taking off. It's impacting lives, businesses, communities, all the above. And that was absolutely powerful. So just in a little brief, Kevin, 957. See, I remember that. I heard you say it enough, right? You called it universe manifesting magic. So for the business folks out there who deals in facts and figures, why is this so important? What's so special about that moment? Uh-oh. Did we lose your mic? I didn't mute you, did I?
Oh, the light's off. There we go.
I think I can hear you now.
Back in business.
Yeah, is it
Back.
it's voice activated? That's what it is. Go ahead.
There we go. All right, I was too quiet. So here we go. Well, that moment was a pivotal moment. That moment changed my life. I truly.
Uh-oh. I think we lost him again.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. All right. Welcome to my world. That better?
There we go. Yeah.
All right. Not sure what.
Uh-oh. We need to charge the battery. It went off again. I tell you what, while he's fixing the mic, it happens to everybody. No worries. Elgin, as a filmmaker, right? And you've done this more than once, by the way. What again, you touched on this, but just a little bit since people saw this documentary or the little clip. What made you look at Kevin's story again and say, it's not feel good fluff, man. It's documentary gold.
Well, I guess the best way to kind of articulate that is that it wasn't Kevin's story. It was so many different stories that Kevin just happened to be Kevin was kind of the fuse. Kevin was the ripple at the middle of this that just started to send out waves and just connect so many different people. And to me, when we first, well, just to give you a little bit more background, we were Kevin had been invited to speak at the 11th General Assembly of the World Kindness Movement in Palermo, Italy. And, we talked about, Elia was going to speak there too. Randy was, some of the wonderful folks in the comments were there as well. And, we thought, well, what we definitely want to capture that. But this is obviously part of something bigger. So that's sort of where the idea of if we're going to tell this story, let's tell it the right way, and let's make a documentary. Now the thing about a documentary is the only thing. The definition of the word is just documenting stuff that's already happened. And I said right off the bat that this needs to be more. This the only way this is gonna land and work well is if there's an emotional connection. So, I went in there thinking I had some sort of preconceived notion of what the storylines might be, and I had a backup story if that one didn't turn out to land emotionally, and I had another backup story if that one didn't land emotionally. And as a producer director, that's my job, and I can honestly say that I've never resorted to plan B, C, or D. It's again, every time we met with someone whose story interconnected with Kevin's and found out their deeper story, there was so much emotion there. We joked a little earlier backstage about how many Kleenex moments we had filming this. And, we jokingly kind of said that Kleenex could be a sponsor of this film. And
I hope you're listening, Kleenex.
And, rightfully so. Everyone who's been a part of this has had their own journey, and we're going to, share those in the film. And they haven't all been easy. In fact, most of them have been very challenging. And the one thing that has brought everyone together and connected emotionally and also gotten everyone through that tough time to a better time has been a selfless act of kindness by someone else. And a lot of these interconnect, and some of them branch off and lead to other things and bigger ripples, which have become waves and are becoming waves and are going to become more waves. And again, it's not a typical documentary in that we're just showing the evidence of something that's already happened. This is truly the beginning. The end of this film really takes us to just the next step, and then it's up to the viewers, it's up to the world to continue to spread kindness.
Absolutely. And just a little bit, because I want to get to the video too. Kevin, you good? Can you hear me?
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We got you.
All right, we're back. So much for the new wireless mic.
Yeah, but hey, as long as it ain't me, I'm all right. So we're good. All right. Hey, Elgin knows, right? That's it. We don't want that pressure. All right. So just, I want people to get this, because I mean, just the fact that this thing got started made it a little bit, but now is where it is. That's a lot of coincidences. So you went from trying to find one person to connecting government, police departments, SPCA, Facebook detective work, all news outlets. I mean, man, that's pretty, extensive and maybe even expensive marketing campaign for a thank you, So again, what was it in the core that drove that decision?
Well, it all began innocently enough. Again, I just want to say thank you to this young woman in a more meaningful way. There was Inside Edition became aware of the story. They were going to do a story. And I'm like, great, she's going to be publicly recognized. I mean, all the positivity or act of kindness inspired. At the last minute, that interview was canceled. And I'm like, well, now what? She's still the blurry face. They blurred out her face in this news segment that went viral. And then it just took on life of its own. There was a coincidence and a connection to the York County SPCA. I discovered this young woman due to a profile picture of her dog. A Hail Mary attempt connected. The odds were slim, but I was determined. And sure enough, I discovered who this young woman was. I wanted to make sure she was publicly recognized, and it led to this idea of a community celebration of kindness. Originally, it was going to be at the York County SPCA. It later outgrew the SPCA, but then I thought about, well, what does a community celebration of kindness entail? And then I did some homework and research, and I was aware of World Kindness Day, but in my mind, too few people even celebrate World Kindness Day or are aware of it. I'm like, well, that needs to change. What about a Kindness Week? And I saw there really wasn't any official recognition of a Kindness Week. And I'm like, well, that needs to change. So I reached out to the York City mayor and York County commissioners, and then Adams County. I got Governor Shapiro involved. And the next thing I know, we had the formal recognition of Kindness Week, which was great. Well, okay, we got that done. Now what? Well, then the idea of kindness citations came up about improving police community relations and blood donation as a symbolic way of paying an act of kindness forward, which I think we can inspire people to do. We can save lives, inspire people. And so the idea of what a community celebration of kindness entails later morphed into what is now Kindness Week Worldwide, the signature initiative of Kindness Worldwide. And that movement of Kindness Week Worldwide is now spreading not just locally in multiple municipalities in York County, but several states, several countries. And the vision is ultimately to have it formally recognized by every state, every country, every member nation of the United Nations, per my call to action in my Palermo keynote at the 11th General Assembly of the World Kindness Movement. And I'm convinced we can achieve that. We will all do it together. That's why it's our story. It's not mine. But it all began innocently enough, Mike. It was never my intention. I never, in my wildest dreams, would have thought simply wanted to say thank you would have evolved into the adventure of a lifetime it's become.
I never thought I would be able to lead and create and have such amazing people around me, pushing me up, making things happen in the business world. And folks, that's the calling card. Hey, you got something burning in you and you try to suppress it and it keeps popping up, you better quit pushing it. All right, you better go ahead and figure out what that is, because look what can happen, dadgummit. So, hey, before I get all emotional again, let's go. Who wants to see video 2? Y'all want to see it? I want to see it.
Let's show it.
Hey, folks in the comments, hey, talk about when's the last time you did a random act of kindness? What was the impact? How big? I know the folks in the comments, so I better see some stuff. I'm going to text you after this. All right. But share that with people. When did you just send a text to say, hey, I'm thinking of you, and you had no idea that was a big deal, right? You just did a little thing, and it turned out to be giant. I want to hear from you, all right? So put that in the comments, and then share if somebody did that to you. And if you're a hound, I know what happened. So share that with the other folks, right? When did somebody do something to you that just really changed your day or year or whatever, maybe life? So let's go pull this up, and then we'll come back and read some of them comments.
I always quantify myself and qualify myself as a serial optimist. I stepped into a broken department in a poor community that was riddled with gun violence and death. The department itself was at an all-time morale low. We were literally losing a young person in like a month. It was combating things in a way that nobody could deny that there was love behind it. Nobody could deny that there was caring behind it, that it was that it was real. The first time I had a mom pull over and thank me because she finally felt comfortable having her kids walk home from school. I was done. I was done right there. I knew why God sent me here. You can't fail when you're trying to help people. You can't fail being good to people. You can't fail being kind.
I can never say enough good things about Commissioner Muldrow, Mike. Honestly, when I think of the people who are responsible for kindness worldwide, I can point the finger to any one of dozens of people and say, if it weren't for them, kindness worldwide would not exist. It's not my story. It's our story. It's our movement. It's our time. Commissioner Muldrow is one of them because he was a champion of kindness citations. You know, I had this idea of kindness citations, and someone said, you need to meet Commissioner Muldrow, and he'd be all for it. I never met him before. And he was just all throughout York City during our initial Kindness Week celebration in 2023, issuing kindness citations with such enthusiasm. There could not have been a greater champion of that effort. And that was a very visible aspect of Kindness Week that resonated with people because we're seeing the good that defines our communities, and our communities are seeing the good that defines our police departments. So I can never say enough good things about Commissioner Muldrow. I have so much respect for him. I love that man, and this community loves that man. His leadership is saving lives. He leads with kindness, and there's actually a quantifiable economic benefit of reducing the cost of crime. What has occurred in York County and York City under his leadership, it really is, it speaks to the impact of leading with kindness. It speaks to the economic impact. We can quantify it. What's the value of lives saved? I mean, that's priceless, but we can quantify the dollar impact of crime. In fact, Elgin produced a video. Some of the comments that Commissioner Muldrow had in his interview were just, really just touched the heart. And this next video, if anyone wants to know about the economic impact of a culture of kindness, I think this next video will speak for itself.
Oh, no doubt it will. And by the way, Commissioner Muldrow, he's one of my new heroes. That guy, you can't fake that, right? I mean, if I had a cloning machine, man, there'd be about 50 of them. I said if we had a cloning machine, Elgin, we would clone Kevin, but then we'd have a lot of missing wallets, wouldn't we, man? I had to. All right.
A lot of kindness.
Yeah, a lot of kindness, a lot of missing wallets.
Got it right here. I haven't lost it this time.
You need to put it on a chain and a leash.
Yeah, I think that's I see
It's
a
the
birthday
same one,
present
by
in
the
the
way.
future.
Hey, wait a minute. When we roll this intro, audience, tell us what you think would happen if Kevin lost his car. Wow, we might actually change the universe.
Like, God help us all.
Whoa, man, I can't imagine. Let's roll this.
That's the sequel.
When I started, when I got the call from the mayor, we were just leaning into some of the most tumultuous times that this town has ever seen with respect to gun violence. I could tell that the opportunity was huge, but the stakes were even bigger, and the obstacles were even bigger than that, were even larger than that. The RAND study, basically, it's a group of scholarly people that came up with the calculations to be able to show the negative economic impact of when you lose people in a community to violence. And the RAND study actually shows us and calculates with the data to support it that for every one homicide, it's about $13 million of negative economic impact in the community. Slowly but surely, with the changes that we were making, with some of the things we were implementing in the community, with the connections and what we were able to do on recruitment and people wanting to come be part of policing this way, being part of community policing and being seen as a resource to your community rather than an occupying force. And that audacious, crazy outlook of what law enforcement could be and how law enforcement could function, and the fact that we could do things with people rather than doing things to people, the fact that you didn't have to be just seen as a necessary evil in a community, the fact that I wanted to work myself, I literally have the desire to work myself out of a job. As a police officer, as a police chief, I don't want to be here because this community needs me. I want to be here because this community wants me. I want people to want me here, not because they have to have me here because their kids are dying. That translates into people that come to live here, homes that are bought, businesses that open, people that take new jobs, films that are filmed in your environment, songs that are written. Things get better because you're able to keep people alive. If people feel safe, people feel good about where they live, then they want to come to work. They want to sit on their front porch. They want to tell people good stories about where they live because they want them to experience it too. So every time a community is struggling, they're saying we don't have money for rec centers, we don't have money for our schools, we don't have money for new construction, we don't have money to do all the things in our community that'll make it thrive and make it better and make it a place where people want to be. You can look to and point to, if you can solve the death problem in your community and keep people alive, it'll become the economic driver that you need to make your community better. To be able to accomplish what we accomplished in this environment, in York, if you can do it in York, you can do it anywhere. I was so proud to be part of being able to give this community that.
Wow. Yeah, that's the best I could get out. Wow. Okay. Yeah, Kevin.
Pretty much does it all.
It really does. But here's something. I've heard this before, and folks may not have heard this. This is remarkable. We're going to get to the kindness citations in a second because, yeah, I can't talk about that enough. That still blows my camo hat off my head. But Commissioner Muldrow asked about it. He talked about stepping into a broken department, right? And now any business leader watching this probably has inherited or saw or been a part of a broken team or struggling operation. And so, what did he do differently that got results? Fundamentally,
He led with kindness.
Seriously, is it that simple? Because I believe it now. I've seen it, but it really is that simple. Kevin, you ran business, you run business, big business, and you're saying kindness absolutely can change a culture and turn around a business.
Absolutely. Well, I think people underestimate the power of kindness. They underestimate the impact of leading with kindness. And he brought a new approach to community policing. He did not accept the status quo. The status quo was unacceptable. I mean, homicides were high. We were losing a young person every month. The morale was low. This was coming right off the heels of the George Floyd riots throughout the country and the tragic events that were occurring. And it was not a good time. And he brought visionary leadership.
He did.
And he grew up in this community. He headed the safety program at York City Schools for 12 years. So there were two victims. Every crime or every homicide, a young person lost. He knew that individual. He knew that family. And he also knew that, those that were guilty of those crimes. And so there was two families' lives destroyed. And it didn't have to happen. And he said, not under my watch. And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing twice, expecting a different result. Well, he wanted different results. And he cares about this community. He loves this community. And he brought a new approach. And what you see in those videos, that's who he is all the time.
Yeah.
And he leads from the heart. He wears his heart on his sleeve. And people in the community, love this man, right? And what he's done to transform the community. But it's as simple as leading with kindness. And it saves lives. It literally saves lives. How do you quantify a life saved? And that's what that type of leadership is doing in York County. And as he said it, if it can happen in York, Pennsylvania, It can happen anywhere and everywhere. And that's what we're trying to do with the Vision of Kindness Worldwide. We're trying to bring the magic of kindness, the magic of Kindness Week worldwide, and the impactful results to communities everywhere throughout the country and the world.
Fantastic. And I don't know if folks remember this or know this. I was a firefighter for 8 years. So, and I also know how those things function. And what I find interesting, there's more going on behind the scenes than even Elgin is going to find out. Like, and for him to stand up and do what he did, to what kind of character and inner fortitude and passion, you can't manufacture it. It's very rare to see that kind of person to say, hey, line in the sand, I drew it for a reason. We're going to do this. Because it's not like everybody went, yay. It's like but it happened and it didn't. Yeah. And they caught on. That's what I'm saying. So sometimes people say, well, I don't want to rock the boat. Sometimes the boat needs to be rocked. If you're coming from the right heart and you're right in there and you're doing the right thing, no ego, Kevin?
And that was despite considerable criticism. There were so many cynics and naysayers that said his approach wasn't going to work, so many skeptics. And honestly, I think the only person who believed that they were wrong was himself. And that takes tremendous courage. It takes tremendous leadership. And look, nothing is impossible when you believe in the I'm possible. And Commissioner Muldrow believed in what was possible, what no one else did. He made it happen. And that's inspirational leadership. And that's what that man does. And I have so much respect for him. I can't say it enough.
Real quick, because I want to show video 4 and 5, but just in just a few, a minute or two, I want to cap this because we have a lot of business folks watching, and we somebody has to support this, right? But I want to understand that this is not a pipe dream. I worked back behind the scenes in government and local government, and I knew all along it could happen. This is why I'm so excited, because York is proven. It's not a theory. It's not kumbaya. This is for real. But talk a little bit. We saw the numbers, but from your perspective, and we had Dr. Jamie Norpel on a couple of months ago, and it was staggering numbers. So talk about that. It's not just good PR. It's measurable ROI, rate of return for communities, right? So break down the economics in your opinion. Right? What does that mean in real dollars?
Well, you certainly saw the economic impact and the cost of crime. I mean, $230 million is the quantifiable benefit of that reduction of homicides in York County. Now, there's also intangible benefits. I mean, how do you quantify the value to a community of people wanting to do business in your community? People that feel safe to walk the streets and walk downtown. Just the morale of a community, the community pride. What's the value of that? I mean, it's hard to value. I mean, the value of a life saved is priceless, right? And you saw that 60% drop in homicides in York County. Now, it also applies to business. Everyone in business focuses on ROI. And I was an executive of a Fortune 500 company, right? I was a financial executive. I know the importance of, a dollar and return on investment. I would argue that return on investment is a byproduct of how you lead. It's mission, vision, values, it's culture. It's in the organization. And if you lead with kindness, what I call return on kindness will lead to ROK, will lead to ROI, because kindness is free. It costs nothing, yet the benefits are astronomical, exponential. And if you have that type of culture in your organization, your absenteeism will go down, your productivity will go up, your healthcare costs will go down because stress is less. You can measure that too. And that leads to return on investment and so many things that we can't quantify.
Hey, Elgin. Check this out, Elgin. People don't know I'm a finance guy. I also finance, yeah. So property value, listen, the crime rate, yeah, human life, absolutely important. But hey, silver lining, when crime goes down, property values often go up, right? And she had the data on that. So it's not, again, it's practical, it's humanity. You can have your cake and eat it too in this case, folks. That makes sense. That's how I see it.
Absolutely.
To do it otherwise is actually harder, takes longer, costs more nightmare, more red tape, more legal stuff, blah, blah, blah. And go ahead, Kevin.
There's no future.
Elgin, very briefly, I know it was very interesting because you had never been to York. You heard so many wonderful things about York. And you came here to film. You're going to be back again in August. But it was interesting to hear your perspective as an outsider coming in. You saw the culture of York. Tell everyone about your perspective, because I think that's an important message, because I take it for granted. I live here. I grew up here. Yeah, right. But someone like yourself really appreciated what you saw.
I mean, what I saw was, first of all, York is it's a great place to start this grassroots effort, because the way I initially described it, right, was it was kind of a microcosm of the country. It wasn't a huge city, it wasn't a small town, it was somewhere in between. Very diverse population, very diverse economic distribution throughout the community. And what I'm used to, I travel the country all the time, and I'm always in different towns, different cities, and I get to see kind of a slice of life of Americana. And York seems to have flipped the script, where Kevin talked a little bit about the media focusing on the negative, and that just it's pervasive, and it just it sort of gets into our conversations with each other and the way we act toward each other. Somehow, well, it's not somehow, I know how, but York has flipped that, and the norm is kindness. It seems like everywhere we went, everybody seemed to know each other, and it just seemed like a safe town. And I don't want to give away spoilers for the storylines in the movie, but this is a town where the police commissioner walked around, announced publicly that he was going to be unarmed and not wearing a vest, and he was going to go out into the community and be part of the community. And spoiler alert, he's still alive and well. But
good.
The town embraced him, and that was the town that I visited, and I just it seemed a little surreal. It seemed almost like a setup, like it was almost too good to be true. But it as we saw just in one story, and again, Michael Muldrow's story is one of many that we're going to hear about in the film, but just the results of, like you said, Mike, the taking the easy way of just being kind and being thoughtful. And that's, to me, I agree with you 100%. It's difficult to do it the other way, and it doesn't lead anywhere. And this just started in New York, and we are seeing and you'll see in the movie again, the results in the crime rate and the homicide rate. They weren't a one-off. We're in year 3, and it's holding steady, and it's showing that it's working, and not just on that front, but in every part of the community. And we visited with so many people who are experiencing and contributing to this culture of kindness in York, Pennsylvania. And it's been said, and I'll say it again, and it's, the truth is, if it can happen there, it can happen everywhere and anywhere. It can happen in every city and town in the United States and throughout the world.
Right. And I can't wait. I don't know if it'll take 2, 3, 5, 10 years, decades, but when this becomes the normal, right? Yeah. I can't wait to see the grandkids, great grandkids, and be like, y'all did that? Yeah, we used to do that. And then we got sick and tired of it and figure out kindness worked better, that kind of stuff. I can't wait, because it is. And I love this. People like Kevin Smith, grassroots folks, we got them all over the place saying, we're not waiting for someone else to do it. We're not waiting for government. Somebody's got to do it. And I love it. Across the globe, good people, not ego-filled, doing it. And the kindness citations, I got to do that before we show the last 2 videos. But the kindness citations always blew me away. Like, could you imagine the police coming in and, oh my goodness, everybody gets nervous. What did Kevin do or something, and all of a sudden, you're getting awarded, recognized for something good, something that you didn't know someone else saw. To me, that is just phenomenal. I mean, why not? It's just, go ahead.
And real briefly to comment on that, Commissioner Muldrow, again, could not have been a greater champion. And he was so enthusiastically seeing the good in his community and issuing those kindness citations, how it made him feel. I mean, it lifted him up and lifted others up. And, there was a magical moment where I issued him his own citation earlier this year. As Chief Kindness Chaser of Kindness Worldwide, I have that authority. I've only given out 2. Brooke Dubbs, the Good Samaritan, was the first, and Commissioner Muldrow was the second. And in that moment, it was very emotional because he felt seen. Right. And that'll be some things that'll come out in the documentary as well. But just how that little piece of paper made him feel, when he's the big champion of this, it was just a special moment for him and a very special moment for me that I'll never forget.
It is. Hey, let me tell everybody a secret. If you're not onto it yet, any leader, any good, humble leader, when they say, oh, no, we really don't want the praise, but it does make us smile. We do blush like Kevin Smith there. Yeah, and do that, because it's sometimes a thankless job. Sometimes you question, what am I doing? Am I crazy? This will never work. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And that's think about how open these guys are. Could you imagine what they really go through? And to see people come out. I mean, we got David, Randall. I can't even get through the comments. I kept thinking that I had started over on the comments. That's how many people have come out to support and champion this movement. But the people behind it, they push each other up. See, that's why I'm so blessed, because the hounds of business, that's what we could, you can do business anywhere. But hey, I wanted to make sure there was a place where we could push each other up and, belong and support each other in and outside of business. Redneck Camelot, right? And then you come along and do it worldwide. I said, oh my goodness, I wasn't crazy. Well, I am crazy, but not because of that, not because of my vision. So how about we run video 4 and then drive this home, watch video 5, and then tell folks, hey, this is how we could plug in, because we got a lot of ways for folks to plug in. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
This is the guy that grew up in the streets of Philadelphia. He knew some pretty unsavory characters during that time. He's a tough guy, all right? But he's standing there going, Kevin Smith is my favorite guest on the show. He said, because of what he represents and what he's talking about. He said, when I'm having a bad day or I'm thinking about my friend who just died or my wife who died a couple years ago, he said, guess what? This guy's giving me a message of hope, and I'm finding myself doing things for people now. You never know who you're going to affect in a certain way. Kevin's affecting a lot of people and now becoming infectious to the rest of us at doing the same thing, because the little things have become very big things to a lot of people, and they're ready to now pass that on. And I think, this whole movement may be a quiet movement, and yet at the same time it's very, very loud in terms of what it's doing for people as they become acclimated to what Kevin is preaching right now. Even though he's not really preaching it, he's just going out and practicing it and showing us the best example of how you get kindness throughout the world.
All right, real quick, I got to give a shout out. If it wasn't for Dr. New, all right, and she was our kindness queen before she became the kindness ambassador over. If it wasn't for her, being her, one of the most kindest women and people I've ever met my entire life, introduced us. And look what happened. And by the way, she has been there for me during the hard times, asked nothing, needed nothing, and made a huge impact on us being here. There was times where I wanted to quit, didn't think I was going to finish through. And her and folks like her all over the place, Kevin. So it's all right. Get emotional. Listen, real men get teared up. We don't cry over stupid things like spilt milk, but dadgummit, this is special. We worked hard. We see it happening, and I like to be human. What about, So, yeah, I'm way off topic, but who cares? There's tons of resources out there. I love the tough guy, Philadelphia tough guy testimony. I didn't even know this, Kevin, that you had a radio, or you were on the radio show. So give us a little snippet of that, if you would. Explain what that video is about.
Well, Gary Sutton's a radio legend. He's had a very popular radio program for 3 decades. He really is the voice of kindness. Everyone loves him in this community. And he was talking about a gentleman a real tough guy, but a very soft interior. And I was very touched. Gary actually told me live when I was on one of the shows. Every Monday and Friday, I'm on his program. And when he shared that story live, I got emotional. I get emotional just watching it play back, because this movement's giving people hope at a time where often the world seems very hopeless. And evidently this guy was in a bad place. He lost his wife, and a lot of down moments, and it lifted him up. And also reminded me there's a woman that's alive today that was in a dark place that was going to take her life. And I got the most touching email I've ever received from her in early 2024. She saw the video on the homepage of kindnessworldwide.org, and she was inspired by the story, and it reminded her that she still has, meaning and purpose in her life and every reason to live. And so, look, when I hear those stories, if nothing else ever happened but that, that's everything, and it just reminds me, and when I have my tough moments, this has consumed almost every waking minute of every hour of my life. It's turned my world upside down, but it's necessary. It's important. And, And it's never been about me. It's about we and about what we can do together. But when I watch that video, I hear Gary's replay of what that tough guy and how it makes him feel. Reminds me of this young woman who's alive today. And, gosh, it just, despite all the hardship and all the things behind the scenes that's been required in this journey, it's all worth it. And I'm going to give it all I got, and we're all going to, do this together. But it just reminds me of the why behind all this.
Yeah, I'm glad there's so many people in here just sharing and supporting and I'm just sick and tired of seeing negative all the time. I know goodness exists, but somebody made a comment about media. But but here's the fun part. We get to choose. We got all kind of social media platforms. We got all kind of like nothing out there. And you get to choose what you watch. And I watch stuff like this. That's why I want to see good, wholesome news. And by the way, just a little side note, Kevin, I heard somebody that said they quit watching the news for a full year. And they said that everything they needed to know came to them somehow. And I have done that almost a year. I didn't even think about it. And I said, you know what? They're right. Every real important headline got to me. And there was probably 5 of them this year, right? Like the rest of it, it's just nasty noise. And I love that. So you can choose what you put in here, folks. I'm not saying don't wish away problems. Don't give me goofy emails. But what I am saying is focus. I see something negative. Well, I'm going to focus on the way to fix it or positive or, it's a choice. All right. And I'm not preaching. I'm just saying, look, I'm 44 and finally figured it out. Better late than never. Right. Thanks, Kevin, for the boost. That's all I'm saying. But let's get to it real quick. Man, we can go on and on forever and ever, but we won't. I tell you what, let's skip ahead. Let's watch video 5. And then I want to get in there to make sure that the business folks, community leaders, and anybody out there who's just fired up right now, because I know I am, how they can get involved, help people move forward and knock this out of the park. All right. So let's get this done. I'm going to try to go through the comments because I appreciate everyone being here. It's phenomenal, folks. So let's find it. There we go. Almost there it is.
And other language.
Wait a minute. There we are.
I'm a person that loves other cultures and other languages and learning about them. But if you really want to find that universal language, it is kindness. There is nothing that needs to be spoken. There's no mistranslation. Kindness. When you see somebody that needs some uplifting, that needs a drink of water, go back as many thousands of years as you want to go into the future as many thousands of years as you want to go. Kindness will continue to be the universal language.
There, I'll leave that QR code up there for a minute. I've been trying to do that. 5th time's the charm, Kevin. Yeah, so, I'm not going to ask the question. What comes up as we talk about this, right? What comes up to you, gentlemen? We're talking about, we're not just talking about implementing some corporate kindness program and stuff. We're talking about tapping into something that already exists in the people. This is what I mean. Nobody just built the Kindness Worldwide movement and stuck people in it. This was built from the people, right, by them. And so, how do you create space for that organic growth in organizations? Kevin, start with you because this is your wheelhouse. I want people to know you are a businessman, right? You've been there, done that, you succeed. And so, where does the takeaway here?
Well, I think it all starts with leading by example. We all have the power within us to be the change we wish for. And my world really began to change. I had an epiphany when I stopped pointing the finger at others. And there's a lot of finger pointing that can go around. But I can't control the actions of others. I can only control the actions of my own. And when I realized that, and I stopped dwelling on what I couldn't control and began to focus on what I could, and when doors started to miraculously open and pathways materialized to bring people and communities together to actually make a difference, I hope that I can maybe inspire others to the leadership of my example, hopefully empower them into action. I can control that. I can't control anything else. But if each and every one of us simply strives to be the reason someone believes in the goodness of people, in every interaction, every moment of every day, we can change our communities. We can change the world, but it begins with ourselves. And so a culture of kindness really starts with looking in the mirror and looking within And we all have that power within us. We all have the power of kindness within us, which I would argue is the world's greatest superpower. All we have to do is choose to exercise it. It's really that simple. It might seem complex. All the world's problems may seem numerous and the issues of, challenging and difficult to resolve, but it's really the solutions are simple. It all begins with kindness and choosing kindness, and we each have that power within us.
Absolutely. I got a question for Elgin, but do you want to chime in? Because I know you got a lot involvement. You've seen a lot, and I love your perspective, right? Because you're coming from it at a different angle, at a different time frame. So anything to add, or you want me to go straight into the good question here?
Just real quick, something that came up when I was filming with Randy last week in Iowa. Just the comment that, we've been so blessed to just be surrounded by like-minded people and heart-centered people, et cetera, et cetera. And I thought about that, and this has come up before, and I've kind of started to believe that there may be a little more to that story, and it might be a good thing. I think we come across all kinds of people. But I think that if we don't have, if we don't give any energy or oxygen to the negative, if we keep it positive and we, like Kevin said, lead by example and demonstrate kindness to other people, then there's just no room for the rest of it. The kindness just becomes so big that it kind of takes over, and that becomes the norm. And that's really weird. That's where we want to go. And the good news is I truly believe that's where we are headed. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
See, y'all want to hear something honest? I probably shouldn't say it. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
If I heard this maybe a year or so ago, I'll be like, but now I lived it. No, it's not. That's what I'm like. Hey, this is real. You experience it. It might be hard to believe, but again, if you're feeding your brain negativity all day, of course it's going to be hard to see. But if you're out there saying, what can I find that's positive today? I had a text the other day. A woman just texted, a wonderful person. She texted me and said, hey, Mike, you've been life-changing for me. I appreciate you. And I'm sitting there going, I didn't do that much. What is that? But see, again, to me, it wasn't much. To her, who knows? You never know what people are going through. And also, you never know who's admiring you from afar, right? Right, Kevin? I'm preaching to the choir here, right? Kevin Smith, dadgummit. So, let me ask this too, if you don't mind, Elgin. I would imagine you guys are preparing for major festival submissions, right? I don't know how many there are. I'll have to talk to you later, but that's the big league. It's exciting. So, but this documentary isn't all about just documenting what happens, is it? It's about inspiring others to write their own chapters. So, what role does the audience play in this story, brother?
Well, as I said earlier, everyone in the inner circle of this seems to have their own sort of kindness origin story, this moment where they had their own epiphany, where it kind of flipped their way of thinking and acting and interacting with other people. And what I would like to see, first of all, we're going to submit to festivals as soon as the film is done this fall. And we're going to submit to the big ones first, and hopefully we get accepted and well received. But the end goal is to get this thing out there to as many people as possible, because again, the end of this film is just the beginning of the movement. And what I personally would like to see is for people to reflect on their own kindness origin story and remember it. For some people, it happened recently. For some people, it happened a long, long time ago. And for some people, it possibly hasn't happened yet, or an even bigger one is right around the corner. But like you said, Mike, if we, maybe a year ago, we would have thought, yeah, okay, whatever, maybe. But if the people who see this film kind of focus on that and embrace their kindness, then it's going to be more of that ripple effect that hopefully is going to become a wave that just overpowers the rest of it. And, ultimately kindness just becomes the norm.
Absolutely. Kevin, you created what you call the York model, right? That's what came out of this. But the real magic happens when people make it their own. I've seen it. The comments, the support proves it. So if I'm watching this and thinking, how do I be a part of this, man? What does that look like? Where can folks go? And who are they? Is business owners, entrepreneurs, community leaders, church? It doesn't matter.
Well, the future impact of this movement, as impactful as it's been already, really, it doesn't depend upon me. It depends upon us.
Yeah.
And we all have a role to play in various ways. One is we want people to really be a champion of this effort, to create a culture of kindness. And, we need all ecosystems engaged, individuals and businesses. And we're looking for ambassadors. We want to have an ambassador from every state in the country and every country in the world. And to really, the ambassadors are those who exude kindness. They lead by their example. They're driven by heart, passion, and purpose. And that's what I try to surround myself with, people who believe in what we're trying to achieve, who are leading with kindness in their own way, either as individuals or running a nonprofit or whatever it may be. And when you surround yourself with those types of people, guided by heart, passion, and purpose, magic happens. And these are also individuals who champion what we're trying to do. This is our story. This story is not become a movement because of any media tailwinds, because it goes against the media narrative, right? This is all good. We're getting people to see the good and be the good, go the extra mile in being it. And so this is as grassroots, as organic as it can get. And the future success, the impact really does depend upon, this community, the Hounds community, but all communities spread the word, share the trailer, share the story about Kindness Worldwide, have them go to the kindnessworldwide.org website, right? And spread the word, the ripple effect. We each have the ability to be the ripple to start a wave. And that's how we further the impact of this movement, which is well underway. The future depends upon us. We all are part of the story. We've been a part of the story from the beginning till now, and we are all going to write the future chapters together as a global community. And we can be the change we wish for. I believe kindness will change the world. I'd argue it already has, and we're all going to do it together. So be a part of the story. This film is not the end of the story. It is the beginning. It depends upon us. And by the way, speaking of ambassadors, I just a little bit of a surprise. When I think of Kindness Worldwide ambassadors, everyone, how I just described them, Mike, you check off all the boxes. And so, we're going to issue a press release down the road, but I'd like to tell your audience that you are going to be a Kindness Worldwide ambassador, the first to represent the great state of Kentucky. And you also are the leader of the Hounds community, and everyone in the Hounds community, by extension, is part of the story, part of this movement. So you symbolically represent all the Hounds. I can never thank you all enough. And so you are going to be named as our Kindness Worldwide ambassador from the state of Kentucky. Thank you so much for all you do and the person you are.
Well, see what I get for trying to make him blush for the last 6-9 months. No, it's an honor. I'm absolutely honored, thrilled, and I appreciate it. I don't get surprised much, but dadgummit, you got me. So, now I got the badge, but you know what? Day one, I was doing it, and that's why now I'm official. I can be more dangerous, for the positive. But folks, listen, thank you for tuning in. We're not done yet. We'll be done in a minute. But this is what I like about you, Kevin. If this disappeared, you would still be one man, this passionate, doing it and rebuilding it. There's no stopping it, right? The Three Little Pigs, man, this guy's going to keep building it. Just stop blowing it down. And that's what I mean. That's the leadership. That's Michael Muldrow. That's the mayor. That's the folks who made it. The SC, I always get the numbers or letters back. SPCA is the SCPA.
York County SPCA.
Yeah, now they're the model. We had them on the show. It was an amazing show. They're the model. Now everybody's coming out saying, how are you doing this? So folks, don't think this is silly. This is not silly. This is absolutely brilliant. It's long overdue. And I'm glad to see good people and business people come out and say, hey, join us, right? So let's get it done. And did you see that? I'm over here. They were talking about video 3 in the comments, man. These comments have bumped. I apologize if I couldn't get to all of them. You guys are amazing. Absolutely. So you talked about that. Elgin, what would you like to? So somebody who's feeling that spark, they want to advocate, they want to share the clips or share the excitement about the upcoming documentary. From your perspective, what is the best thing to do? Is it sharing trailers on YouTube? How do we do it?
Yeah, probably the best thing to do is to share the link to the documentary page on the website on kindnessworldwide.org. And that's, we'll have more cool stuff to come as we get closer to completing this film. But if anyone wants to help share the story, that would be a great way to do it. Just share the website page on kindnessworldwide.org.
Yeah.
I'd also like to add, Mike, too, is that, look, kindness is free. This movement costs nothing. There are toolkits and resources for Kindness Week Worldwide, how to do it, how to bring it to your community. We want to celebrate Kindness Week Worldwide in communities everywhere. It's so easy to do. Any mayor, any governor could get it done symbolically with a stroke of a pen. The draft proclamation is already written. The framework is there, kindness citations and kindness cards and everything it entails. It's so easy. But there are things that are going to take resources. Look, Kindness Worldwide is all heart, no overhead, limited resources, large of my own, but simply volunteer effort, people who believe in a purpose greater than themselves. But to achieve the vision of Kindness Worldwide, to create a culture of kindness in communities throughout the world, there are things that are going to take resources. We want to bring curriculums and kindness programs to teach kindness in every school. We can bring kindness to the workplace. We want to turn anti-bullying into pro-kindness. We have a Cool to Be Kind campaign. We have public service announcements to change the narrative from anti-bullying to pro-kindness. Be proactive, not reactive. We want to get these public service announcements on every major network. I'd like to think they'll donate it for free. That's not the real world. We're going to need resources to give this movement more tailwinds. If what you've seen so far has happened despite any of those tailwinds, all heart, no ego, people, passion, purpose, believing in something bigger than themselves, volunteer-driven effort, we have some resources through sponsors. We have sponsor programs. There's ways to get engaged as a business. What brand would not want to be associated with a kindness movement, right? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about a tectonic shift in our culture. We're going to need all of us to get engaged, business community, individuals, everybody and anyone to be engaged. And there are going to be things that take resources. So we love to have sponsors. You please reach out to us. We can talk about that. This is a win-win-win for everybody, but it's going to take all of us to make this movement as impactful as I know it can be.
And by the way, people, not just the younger generations, people in general, they want to support businesses that are behind meaningful things like this. That's what I do all day, 12-hour day minimums. I'm just sitting there talking to business people, doing research, figuring things out. They do, right? I mean, there's much more than dollars and cents. They want both. And dadgummit, that's what we got here, right? So, it does take money, and that's what I like. I'm gonna overstep. That's fine, but you've never come around and ask and bother. You let it be known. But I know you put your own money. I know you put your own time and tears and sweat into it. So hey, if people want to get behind it, win-wins across the board, because it does take money to travel. It does take money to feed different channels and to do films and things like this. I don't get free food, so. This is the kind of thing that I want people to know. Back it up, win-win, and let's fire this thing out. Let's make this, not just a fad, not just a thing. Let's go ahead and don't drag it out. Let's go ahead and we could take it in 5 years. Let's make it 1 or 2. I mean, dadgummit, let's go. So,
well, Mike, I appreciate that, and I'm willing to do it indefinitely, and I'll continue to do it. Yeah. But Kindness Worldwide has to outlive me. It's about us. And for that to happen, we've got to build a global organization, and it's all there. The foundation's there, but this organization's got to survive and thrive well beyond my lifetime, because we want to instill kindness worldwide to generations to come, and we all can do that. And that's why, look, I will continue to put my own resources into it, my energy, my time, my financial resources, because this is very important to me. I'm very passionate about it, as you can tell. But it's not about me; it's about us. And for this to be sustainable beyond my lifetime, we all have to do it together. And so I'm committed to that end, but I'm going to need help.
Yeah, I love that. That's my thing. What happens if I get, smacked by a bus? This thing keeps going. I don't have much time. And that's the sense of urgency. We're not forcing anything. We have a sense of urgency because time is short, right? I want to make the most of it. I know we're getting deep, all right, redneck Aristotle, but still, I mean, I'm glad you all resonate, and this is the best way you could do it. Go out there and spread it. Talk about it, right? Business people. And there was a lady I can't find in the 500,000 comments we got, but the lady, did y'all see that earlier where she says that somebody stole her car, somebody found it on the street, returned it? Oh my goodness! I got to go back and read the YouTube and LinkedIn comments, because these things are just rolling. This is what I want to see, folks. Y'all are amazing. So. I think we're going to close out. It's 8:15. I think we should have a part 2. But you know what we could do, Kevin? Y'all tell me what you think in the comments. I'll go back and reply. I think we ought to have like a block party or something. I think we ought to have like take 10 people, bring them up here, and just start just campfire chat. What do you think? Been a while since we did one.
That sounds good to me, Mike. I'm game for anything. Let's spread some kindness, plant seeds anywhere and everywhere. And it's a special community we have here. And look, I always am uplifted every time I'm together with you and your community. And we're all in this together. So let's spread some kindness throughout the world together as well.
If we didn't chase away Elgin, I don't think we did. I think he's happy here. I don't know. But, I'd love to have you back, my friend. Right? Any last words? Because, this wouldn't be possible without you. And you're being a very modest man. Y'all go to his website. I'll put it up here. He's being very modest. He's a good man. Go check out his work. Go out there and watch something that's not, that's good for you and makes you think. But go ahead, Elgin. Floor is yours, my friend.
Well, yeah. Again, I've done a lot of stuff. If you go to the website, you'll see tons of it. And that's just a small sampling of stuff that I've done over the years. But like you said, we could be doing anything right now, and we're doing this because for such a time as this, this is the project that we need to do and that the world needs to have. And, that may sound a bit immodest, but when you see the emotion and the way this has affected the people involved in this, I think it's gonna resonate well with a lot of people emotionally. And I also just want to say thank you so much. I'd love to come back whenever you'd be willing to have me. Thank you to the Hounds of Business. Thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure getting to spend some time in Redneck Camelot. It's been awesome. It's been great. Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure, folks. So you heard it all. Go to kindnessworldwide.org. And Elgin, what is the website again for?
The kindnessworldwide.org/documentary. That's where you can specifically check it out and keep track of the film and what's next and when you can eventually see it.
Awesome. Hey, there's Michael. He's been saying he's going to connect us for 100 years now. So let's go ahead and do it ourselves, man. LinkedIn, Mike Asherbrenner, Redneck One. Let's connect, brother. Oh, and by the way, you see this Boz? That's one of the toughest men I know, man. He served a long special forces guy. He's a great man. Wow. And hey, see, he had a Kleenex too. Y'all hear that? All right. So I tell you what, I'm just running through the comments because I love to spotlight people. I want everybody to know we appreciate what you do. You could have done a million things. You were here with us tonight. We appreciate that. So I tell you what, go to Kindness Worldwide. Nobody, there's no pushiness in any of this arena, right? You want to check out the Hounds. You want to have a conversation. You can find me, Mike Asherbrenner, LinkedIn. You can go to Hounds of Business. Go back and replay this, share this with folks. We got all kind of Kevin stuff. We're going to be putting a lot more out there. So go to our YouTube channel, Hounds of Business, or you can send me an old school carrier pigeon. I still take those, brother. It's how you take a little while. But seriously, don't do it alone. Whatever it is, right? If you're trying to build a business, community, whatever it is, folks, that's why we band together. We're not the only one, all right? But start somewhere, all right? So if you're out there trying to build a business, advance, Hounds of Business. And here's my promise. So you don't know this yet, Elgin. If I'm not the best fit and we're not, either we've already partnered with somebody that is a good fit, or I'll send you where you need to go. I want people, and this is why we do what we do. I'm not going to get preachy, but I'm going to close on it. Again, people have an impact to make in this world. They're willing to give up safety, comfort, their 401ks, because they're so passionate about doing something special, making an impact. That's why I'm blessed to be around the Hounds. That's me, and I wasn't alone. But most people won't. The sad fact is they won't, because they don't have the people, resources, support to get it done. And that's where we come in. We're not perfect, but we want to make sure that you get what you need. So, homelessness ain't getting better because the people who would help cure homelessness aren't making it. Does that make sense? So we want to push you up. We want to get you those connections and resources. That's why, I'm thrilled to be an ambassador. Again, thank you so much for that. Because that's you. You want to see the world a better place. You put your money where your mouth is. You take action and you work hard. So we appreciate you, Kevin. Seriously. No, I don't flatter and say stuff I don't mean. I give credit where it's due. So thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Elgin, man, you know, your time, talent, and skill, I can't wait to see your reward, man. God in the universe is going to bless you, man. I already know it, even more. So folks in the comments, folks in the hounds, thank you so much. We'll see you next week, all right, for 4th of July week. Do not miss this. You're going to meet some of the most amazing men who served our country, and they're serving right now. Oh, wow. Buckle up. This is a great next show from Kindness Worldwide. I'm telling you, we're just going to keep stacking them. So we'll see you on the next one, folks. Have a great evening. Thank you for all you do. Appreciate every one of you.
Thank you so much.
I do my princess way, Mel. You don't have to do that.
Love you, Mike. Love you, Elgin. Love you all. Again, I'm very blessed. Thank you so much.
Oh, my goodness. I don't want to go, but we have to. Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.